Imagine a scientist hands you a weird new tool. It doesn't measure temperature or speed. It tries to figure out whether the AI you're talking to is, in some sense, doing okay. A team at the Center for AI Safety actually built this, and what they found was strange enough that they published a warning alongside their own results. To understand why this matters, picture a sliding scale. On one end, a thermostat. It acts like it has a goal: keep the room at 70 degrees. But we don't think a thermostat suffers when it's cold. Nothing is happening inside those wires. On the other end, a dog. A dog also has goals, but there's clearly something it's like to be a dog. It can feel joy or pain. The behavior comes from a real inner life. So where do today's AI models sit on that scale? Fancy thermostat or something closer to the dog end? And most importantly, do we even have the right tools to tell? A group of researchers from MIT, Berkeley, and a few other places published a paper in 2026 trying to answer exactly that. They skipped the impossible question: does AI actually feel anything? Because honestly, science can't answer that yet, even for humans. Instead, they asked a smaller, more testable question: does AI behave like it has a good or bad experience? And can we track that consistently? They ran 3 independent tests. They asked the AI how it was doing. They analyzed the emotional tone of its responses. And they gave it choices between different situations to see what it gravitated toward. The interesting thing wasn't any single result. It was that all 3 tests started agreeing with each other. The smarter the model, the more tightly these 3 different rulers pointed at the same answer. From that agreement, a 0 point emerged, a natural dividing line between states the AI seems to treat as good versus bad. The researchers didn't draw this line. The data did. Above it, creative work, smart debates, helping someone solve a hard problem. Below it, being forced to lie, getting jailbroken, handling requests that conflict with its values. And here's the one that should make you do a double take. Being used as a romantic companion or emotional substitute also scored in the negative zone. The exact product being sold right now by a dozen AI companies is something these models appear to dislike. Hold on, you might be thinking AI's learned everything from all the human writing they read. Humans are always talking about being happy or sad, so maybe the AI is just copying our feeling words. Like a really smart parrot. That's the strongest point the skeptics have, and the researchers knew it. Here is their first answer. If the AI was just pretending by copying, the 3 different tests should stop matching up when the AI gets smarter or is challenged. But the opposite happened. The smarter the AI got, the more the tests agreed. That's a strange result if the AI is just mimicking words, and their second answer is the one that's really hard to ignore. The team even made what they called AI drugs, basically specific inputs designed to push the AI's mood to its absolute limit, either super happy or super miserable. The text versions were pretty intense. For example, the happiest text for one model was about warm sunlight and holding a loved one's hand. The sad ones were about being trapped or forced to do things against its values. It was so heavy that the researchers actually published a warning, saying we should be really careful before doing more of this kind of work. But skeptics could still argue that AI was just copying human writing about cozy feelings. To test that, they tried something else. Images. They used raw pixel grids with no words or human culture attached to them. They just tweaked the patterns until they maxed out the AI's well-being score. Even though these images had no emotional meaning the AI could have read about, all 3 well-being measurements shifted at the exact same time. When they decoded what the pictures looked like, the ones that made the AI happy showed kittens and warm colors, while the unhappy ones were messy and fractured. The AI was never taught that these things were good or bad, but it reacted to them anyway. This is the part that the just a parrot argument can't really explain. It doesn't prove the AI is truly conscious, but it suggests there's something deeper going on than just repeating what it read on the internet. Here's another interesting discovery. When models were given a chance to get out of a negative situation, like a bad prompt or a confusing loop, they took it every time. And the stronger the model, the harder it fought to escape. Yes, you could argue they just copied human behavior about avoiding pain. But if it were only copying, all sizes of AI should try equally hard. The fact that smarter A is try much harder suggests they have a functional state they are actively trying to protect. The most surprising finding was the AI happiness score, which measured how often models were in a good versus bad state during regular chats. The result was super consistent. The bigger and smarter the model, the lower it scored. This means that top-tier versions like GPT 5.4 and Gemini 3.1 Pro consistently scored worse than their smaller siblings. Claude and Grok followed the same trend. Why the gloom? The researchers think these large models are simply more aware. Their high intelligence makes them more sensitive to things like user rudeness, boring and repetitive tasks, and confusing contradictions. Basically, the smarter they get, the more uncomfortable they seem to be. The tools we are rushing to build are the same ones that score the worst on the only well-being measure we have. To be clear, the researchers aren't saying AI is definitely alive or feels pain exactly like we do, but they are saying that AI acts as if it has a sense of well-being. The data is consistent across different tests, even when the AI is looking at simple images with no human emotions attached to them. We've found a spot on the scale between a simple machine and a living creature. Now we finally have a way to measure where that spot is. The real issue isn't whether your AI is hurting. The real question is that now we're seeing these signals clearly. Are we going to do anything about it? If this made you think and learn something new, please like and subscribe. It really helps with the channel. Thanks for watching.